Up, you bunch of fucking queers. And by that I mean up ghosties. How are we? Oh boy. Yes, you did hear a sniff. Sorry, I forgot my microphone was totally on. I completely forget how to stream some days. Anyways, Wilbur, thank you for the first, or congratulations on the first. P.O. Spotify reminder, thank you. Oops. Private session. Dope. Rotten, hello. Callum, hello. P.O. I already said hello to you, and Wilbur, I said hello to you, and Arctic, hello, and Sammy, hello. And it's Phoenix. Hi. Hello, hello. First time chatter. That's so crazy. Hello, how are you guys? How are you? How are you? We're gonna do some art today, and we'll chitter chatter. And there were questions in chat. What were they? Hello and goodbye. Totally fine. Give me a prompt for anything writing or art. I'll give you a prompt today. Let me get through my intro. I'll give you a prompt. Do you want like a full challenge again, or do you want like just like the idea? Are you looking for like a full like challenge, like when I give you the writing pieces? Maybe I give you like a full idea, and if you want to do it as an art piece, you can just ignore the rest of it. But that'll be fine. Trying to think of what exactly I'm gonna push you on. Hello everybody, my name is Almost Sander, and welcome home. How are we? How are we? Okay. Turn all of this down a little bit. Hey chat. We're gonna do some more art fight today because I have 2 reference sheets to be done. We're almost there. And I have finished Genesis and Brianna's character reference sheets. So I finally get to show you the final ones. They are done now. And my God, gorgeous. If you're looking for a writing prompt or art prompt to do today, your prompt today is the other side. What is on the other side? The other side of what? I don't know. The other side of the road, the other side of the glass, the other side of life and death. I don't know. That's for you to decide. Your prompt today is the other side. If you are doing this as a writing challenge, you have a maximum of 2 pages. I want you to focus on inner monologues and description that is non-visual. So give me description that's going to be outside of your usual. So instead of telling me what something looks like, tell me how it feels, how it smells, what's the temperature, what's the humidity. Give me anything other than visuals. You can give me visuals, but give me something else. That's your challenge today, if you're doing that challenge with me. For those of you who don't know, sometimes we do little challenges like that. If you're doing it as a writing style, you have until the end of the stream. If you want me to go over some of it with you, you can send it in to me and we'll go over it live on stream. Yes, I can write all of that down so you can see. Okay, give me one moment. So this is the other side. Okay, you got 2 pages. Inner monologue. This is your stars or inner monologue and non-visual descriptions. And then your extra super bonus challenge is going to be, ooh, what do I give you? What do I give you for the extra super bonus challenge? Can I can join it. Yeah, you could pin it if you want to type it out. Where am I? Oh, I will check my Finch. Thank you. Hang on, my iPad thingy just broke. Hold. That's not what I wanted. I don't want you guys looking at yourselves. There we go. If you want, I'm trying to think of like what little, here's your extra stupid little challenge. Find a point to use an onomatopoeia. What is an onomatopoeia? Somebody in chat. Suddenly it's art/writing class. It's not art class, it's writing class. Suddenly it's writing class. Somebody define an onomatopoeia for me. There you go, Pio. There you go, Ollie. Ollie got it first, and then Pio right after. We got boom, bang. Perfect. Yes. Boom, bang, crash, slam, kapow. Boom is the definition. Yes. So your challenge is prompt is the other side. Maximum 2 pages. Max. That's an X. So here, screenshot that if you want it. Other side, 2 pages maximum. Inner monologue and non-visual descriptions are your importance, and your super special is onomatopoeia.
Get dominated.
I will.
I said in another stream
Hello?
you're at Hank Green levels of giving yourself things to do. I got busy with my kid and couldn't point out that you didn't even list working on art sheets or giving viewers a writing prompt and giving critique, which was what led me to say that.
Yeah, I am like this. This is just kind of what I do, is just I have 100 trillion things to do. Yeah, I didn't even list things like, yeah, like writing on art. Like currently I'm working on art reference sheets for Art Fight, and also prepping for Art Fight, because that means an entire month of doing art for free that just for other people for fun. I've paused commissions altogether. I'm not currently doing commissions, but I am also actively writing a book. I'm actively editing lore, which gets posted. By the way, hey, lore? I don't have anything visually to show you yet. Lore comes out this month. Lore comes out this month. Just saying. Anyways. I don't have a date for you yet. You'll get a date tomorrow. Oopsies. You'll get a date tomorrow. Teehee. But yeah, anyways, there's your little screenshot. If you haven't gotten the screenshot yet, or if Abby hasn't typed it all out for you yet, Abby's gonna type the whole thing out at some point and pin it somewhere somehow. I know they're working on that, so I trust them. But yeah, I kind of stretch myself a little bit thin. I actually have like a did I say when we had this conversation the first time, Jess, did we talk about my list? I have a list of everything that I'm working on in the moment. I think it's in here somewhere. No, that's the comms. This is list. Is this the planning life list? No, that's an old content list. Oh Lord. I don't even know. Creative goals, is that the list? Yeah, so I'm working on things I'm actively working on right now. Here's my checklist of things that I go through when I have nothing to work on, because I always have something to work on. Is the Children of Aesir edited series, Lamb of God, which is my book, Invisible Like I've Never Been, which is my Technoblade fanfic, which I've actually put on pause officially, but I'll get back to eventually. The alternative webtoon design, which I'm currently writing. The animation that I've been working on, I'm still in the middle of working on an animation. I was still working on practicing tattoos, designing them, and doing fake skin. I'm still working on commissions, which again has also been put on pause, and now I'm working on Art Fight as well. There is always something. Just always. But today it's Art Fight. There you go. Prompt to the other side requirements, 2-page max, inner monologue, non-visual description, onomatopoeia. There you go. Perfect. Cool. Cool. Let's get rid of this. Fun little things. Do you want to see a fun little thing? Art Fight's coming up too fast. It is approaching rapidly. We have 1 month. We got 1 month. It is rapidly creeping up on us. I'm gonna switch over to my liked playlist, which means I'm also gonna come off of private session. Okay. Cool. You want to see a fun little thing I did? Because I have this, which is a lineup of all of my OCs in height order. But I thought it'd be really fun to see all the couples standing next to each other and like the character groups. So I put them next to each other. So this is the Lamb of Gods cast, which I've never actually been able to like be like, there they are. This is the cast of Lamb of Gods. Technically, this is the cast of Lamb of Gods. And then he's also there. But this is your cast. This is the cast of characters. And then also Zadkiel's here. So that's my book. I've never gotten to like, there they are. Look at them. They're here, which is so cool. I love my babies very much. And then so I love them so much. There's he's also their baby cat. Listen, it's how it is. And then I have, yeah, Sawyer and Kane who look I don't anyways, yeah, there's them. Jason Embry, these are the character sheets I'm working on today because this is the next character sheet on the list. They're the only character sheets I have left to do. And then Lucas and Blackstar, who are not getting character sheets because I don't want them to. These are my oldest OCs. Like, I started drawing Blackstar and Lucas when I was like, I think I was 12. They're my oldest OCs. They mean a lot to me, but they're very, very personal. And I just don't know if I want other people drawing them. I don't know. It's so weird for me. Like, I can't fathom anybody drawing Blackstar that isn't me. Like, she's mine. She's not for other people. She's for me. Like, I might cry if other people drew her. Not necessarily in like a bad way, but like she's my first ever OC, and she came with me my entire life. Like, and nowadays she feels like a part of me that I left behind when I was little. And she's just a little memory that I keep. That like she grew with me until I was like 17. And then I broke off from her and I became like a fully formed human being. And she's still there. Spectral Hearts, thanks for the follow. Nice to see you. Welcome home. My name is Xander. It's good to have you here. I hope you enjoy your stay. Most of us don't usually bite. And then Brianna and Genesis, because now I have them as well. And both of them are gorgeous girls. My gorgeous, gorgeous girlies. So those are all of my peoples. And Xander on his own because he's my only OC in that story because it's a shared story. Nah, I fully bite. I said most of us, and I said usually. So anyways, those are all my people. Those are all my humans. Also, I do have finished art fight references for Genesis and Brianna, which I didn't previously have for you. So, Genesis. The only major change is a little bit of color shifting on some of her clothes as well as her guitar, and an addition of her thigh tattoo, which I designed. This is her thigh tattoo. You can see it right there. Gorge, obsessed, literally drooling. So that's my girly. She's all done. I'm very happy with the way she turned out. Kind of obsessed with her. It looks so silly. They're my peoples. I love them so much. They bring me much joy. And then her girlfriend is also done. Here is Brianna. She is done. She also got her back drawn because she does have a back tattoo, so she did get a back angle. And Awooga. Full bush in a bikini. Yes! Genesis is like the core of full bush in a bikini. She's absolutely full bush in a thong all the time because she could not be asked to shave, but she knows she looks good. But anyways, woof. Woof, Brianna looks so pretty. Anyways, yeah, I'm like, Brianna's gorgeous. As an epic tattoo applies to both of them. Thank you. Also, this is a very, very, very specific type of butterfly. This is I think it's called a Mormon filigree or Mormon butterfly. I'm trying to find the specific, it's not filigree, it's the Mormon, hang on. Hang on, I can do this. Mormon fritillary. Mormon fritillary. I found it. Okay. This is Mormon, it's a Mormon fertility. Not fertility, fritillary. Mormon fritillary. It's a type of butter. It's a specific type of butterfly that Trans is its gender. They're born male and they transition to female. It's a transgender butterfly. It's a Mormon fertility Mormon frittata. Mormon. It's a butterfly that it's a just trust me. Anyways, it's fine. I'm finding it. I'm the butterfly has purpose. Okay. It's Mormon and trans, that's all we need. Anyways, there they are. So there she is. That is almost all of our character sheets done. If I move these two down real quick to our last ones, we officially now have Xander, done. Azazel, done. Zadkiel, done. Myra, done. Othello, done. Brianna, done. Genesis, done. Kane, done. Sawyer, done. The only people we have left is Jace and Embry. Those are our final two characters. We just got to get these two bad boys done, and we are done. Finally. Ugh. Kane, my boy. You want to stare at him a little bit longer? Because, woof. That's all I have to say. I think admittedly, I have boiled him down into his most basic parts, which means he gets summed up as Kane Nash, 5'7", 20, homeless with a criminal record. It's true. He's more than that, I promise, but it's true. I'm not lying. None of those are lies. I swear he's more than that. Head scar? Yeah, it's a surgical scar. He's got a surgical scar. He's got a surgical scar. I didn't know his lore. I'm a fake fan. Fake fan. Fake fan. Fake fan. Can I ask the history of the scar? He has a metal plate in his head from a motorcycle crash. L him. So he's got plate in his brain. Well, not in his brain, but you know what I mean. Noise. All right. It was from he wasn't even 18 yet. He was a fucking teenager. All right. I brushed my teeth after work today because sometimes, you know how sometimes you just get the need to brush your teeth at a random time? I did. I think it was for my salad. I don't know. Is that a weird thing? And now my coffee tastes like toothpaste. Thumbs down. Anyways, let's draw these idiots. So tired of drawing reference sheets. All right. If you're working on your prompt, feel free to work on your prompt while I'm working on this idiot. But I'm going to work on this idiot. Also, I've just realized that these two aren't lined up, and it will drive me crazy if they aren't. You. There you go. Okay. So here's me, people can just make up characters. Bro, I have so many of them. I can answer questions about any of my characters if you like. Someone needs to make going puppy mode in a park not make you insanely sore. Nah, sorry. You just gotta do puppy mode all the time if you're gonna not want to get sore. You gotta build up puppy muscles. So when I was... If anybody has any questions about any OCs, I will share. But as a quick aside, when I was a kid, it wasn't a kid, it was about 14. Nah. About 15. I started babysitting for my mom's friends. My mom had a lot of adult friends, and they had kids that were much younger than me, because my mom had kids very young. So I was the oldest of not only like all of my cousins, all of my family, but all of my mom's friends' kids. I was always the oldest. I did not have a single friend that was older than me, which may have something to do with the fact that as an adult, I still only get along with people significantly younger than me. I don't know how to get along with people my age. Never grew that ability. So like, I'm 26. Almost every single one of my friends are like 22. It's not major, but that 4-year difference is the distance between me and my closest youngest cousin, which was like me and her were 4 years apart. I don't know how to be friends with people my age. I don't know why. Anyways, my point stands. But when I was babysitting them, this is reference to Tommy talking about going puppy mode. We used to play werewolves because I have always been a werewolf kid. I was always a dog kid. I was always like, I wanted to play. if we were playing house, I was playing the dog. I wasn't like, oh, I'm one of those trends, like, as we played house and I wanted to play the dad. Nope, I wanted to play the dog. I've always liked doing that. And so when I decided to babysit these kids, or when I was told I had to babysit these kids, one of the ways that I did that was I needed to have complete control of them. Like I needed to know that I was in charge and that they would listen to me. And as a teenager, like a almost preteen, 14, 15 years old, I'm very young. These kids were like 6 or 7. They're not significantly younger than me. They are, but like, how do you get a kid to listen to you? How do you know that you can trust them? How do you know that they'll do what you say? Well, you develop pack dynamics, of course. If you just develop pack dynamics. So I ascertained myself as I was the pack leader, and they were my 2 like underlings. I don't know what the words for them. I was the alpha, yeah, but I never referred to myself that. I was just pack leader. And we would train. We would go outside and we would train. I would set up obstacle courses for them to run. They'd need to be able to run and duck under something without losing speed. They had to be able to run and jump over something without losing speed. I would literally pull out my phone and time them on laps until they got personal bests. They became incredibly fast at running at all fours, and their goal was to be able to beat me because I was incredibly fast on all fours. We had reflexes. I would throw things at them for them to catch and for them to dodge. Like, never like hard, but like, chuck things of like, dodge these things, catch these things. Do it when I throw this thing and say dodge, dodge, and when I throw this thing and say catch, catch. And I'm not going to say it until I'm throwing it, so you have to be able to react in the moment. And then when it was like we were all like warmed up, we were ready, okay? One of our main things was to fight. And I always told them that if they could beat me in a fight, they could become the leader. They never did, for reference. But they weren't real fights. The only thing they had to do, this is so cute, they had to be able to flip me on my back and pin me down. That is all they had to do. Flip me on my back, pin me to the ground. If at any point you could accomplish that, you'd win. And I told them until they started even getting close, I wouldn't even fight back. I would stay perfectly still. I would not move. I wouldn't fight back. I wouldn't try to pin them until they started getting close, and then I'll start fighting back. So I remember, yeah, kind of like wrestling. A pin is a win. Exactly. So when we started, they would both just kind of, they'd run up on all fours, and then they'd put their hands on me. They'd try to push me over. And I was essentially on my hands and knees, head straight down, just like stood and just braced. And they couldn't move me, couldn't push me over. They'd try to I did have to put down some rules because one of the girls ran up to me, turned around, and 2-foot horse kicked me in the ribs. That hurt a lot. So we had to put some rules down into how hard you were permitted to kick me. Because Jesus Christ. But these 2 girls that I was raising, shout out, I won't say their names, H and K, you know who you are. One of them just refound me on TikTok and was like, oh my god, hi. And I was like, oh my god, hi. H and K, shout out to you two. You guys don't watch my streams, but I won't drop your names just for the sake of you having a normal life. But they were very different build kids. One of them was very thin, very slender, very speed-based type of character, if you were going to characterize them. And one of them was very wide, very stocky. She had a lot of muscle on her. One of them was very, like, track and field based, and one of them was very, like, I don't know, wrestling based. Like, they were built different. And they really tried to do the same thing. They were trying to learn from each other, copy from each other, figure out what worked. And so I was like, hey, you guys aren't built the same. Don't act like you're built the same. You have strengths. There are things that some of you can do that other people can't. Work to your ability. Stop just trying to do the same thing over and over and over again. And you saw something click, and they started to think and use their brains a little bit. And H was the little bit thinner, a little bit faster one. And she got really good at, I'd get in position, she'd like, we'd say go or whatever, and she would run up and slide underneath me, and then brace her legs underneath herself and just stand up as fast as she could. Like, she'd get her whole body, like, right under this part of my chest, and then just plant her feet and stand, like, to try to throw me backwards. And she got really good at it, because she could slide right up underneath me and pop up like a spring. And, like, she got really good at it. She got, you know, she had a lot of skill to her, which was impressive. And Kay was the little bit stockier one, and she just decided to go for muscle for it. Is in she would wrap her one arm around her arm and then put her back to me and just whoop, like just try to roll my ass, because she could almost pick me up. H had no chance of picking me up, but H could slide underneath me and K couldn't get underneath me. So they had to go different ways. And there was something magical, looking back on it as an adult who's trained in like child education and everything now, to say about teaching these kids, like, you have differences. What works for her will not work for you, but you can do things that she can't. And watching them learn and develop the ability and the skill to find their own strengths and apply them. I did something there that I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I really didn't. I'd like to be like, I knew, but like, it just, I didn't know at the time exactly what I was teaching them, but I was really teaching them something that was important. And I think that's really awesome. Like, babysitting those kids, like, it definitely changed both of us to some degree. Like, I found a lot of love of working with kids, and I got to have a really great time with them, but also, like, I don't know, I feel like we both learned things from each other to some degree. It was a really fun experience. And, the stuff did extend into, like, I felt like I could safely take them out into neighborhoods. And my parents actually, or I shouldn't say parents, my mom actually trusted me so much with them. But when we would go camping, I was permitted as like a teenager to take just these two kids off into the woods by ourselves, because we had a perfect recall system, because we could take care of each other. Even when I couldn't see them because the woods are dense or whatever, I wouldn't lose them. Because if I couldn't see them, I could bark once and they would stop wherever they are so I could catch up to them. Bark twice was a recall, as in, like, I don't know where you are right now. I need you to come back to me. And if I howled, they would howl back so I would know what direction they were. I was a teenager running around the state parks, barking and howling with these two other kids, barking and howling back at me, so I knew where they were at all times. That's so goofy. But, like, I don't know. There was something about having, like, complete trust in these kids, and they never disobeyed. Like, if you remember, like, being a kid and your parents were like, stop it, come back here right now. And you'd be like, it's still funny. This is still funny. We're still joking. We're still whatever. Because parents would be like, stop. Wait, come back here. And then suddenly their tone gets serious and like, come back here. And you don't always hear the tone change. And now you're like, you know, you still think you're playing. I was really strict with them in that, like, if I'm talking to you, we're laughing. It's funny. If I bark, if I howl, I'm not joking anymore. This isn't funny. Like, so if I saw people in, like, because when we got in the woods, you know, they're teenagers out there smoking, doing weed, whatever, like, doing mischievous things. Like, I knew if I, like, bark, like, I knew they turned around and they were running back to me, regardless of what was going on, regardless of what we were playing, regardless of what they had found, whatever it was, woof, woof, they're on the way. Like, is it stupid? Yeah. Was it effective? Yeah. It was great. I lived in the peak of werewolf kid times. Like, I was, like, hang on, when was, yes. I was in high school during the peak of the werewolf world of kids. If you remember,
on all levels except
this
on all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
this came out when I was in high school. If you know the joke of it, on all levels except physical, I am a wolf, was when I was in high school, when news stations were like making news things about like high school werewolf packs. What are they? And why are your kids wearing tails to school? Like, I was sneaking dog collars to middle school to wear, and like it was like the peak of that. And it's so, I don't know. It's so funny. It was so much fun. And there were other kids who played werewolf in my like neighborhood that like I didn't play very often once I was in high school, but in my area, if you went out in like the afternoon or like the evening when the sun was setting and you howled, kids would howl back. Kids you didn't know, because we were all just playing this game. Like, you could go outside and howl and you would hear somebody howl back. It was weird out there, man. In a good way. It's a good recall system, though. They actually have respect for you and probably find it more interesting than words. Exactly. Kids know. Imagine you're at a park and some teenager barks and two smaller kids bark back. It worked, though. It worked, which was crazy. If you were to bark at me, I'd come back too, honestly. Yeah, Tyrio's fucking around at the convention. I'm like, Tyrio, come back here. Come on, come here. Wolf! And she's like, like, be crazy. It'd be so funny. I'm gonna start barking at you at conventions. God. She was tricked with that one, but that was not great for the ultra human community, but it was so funny. Yeah, I know the actual, like, the actual clip was not meant to be used in the way that it was. If you had, I would have perked up and looked around for you. There you go. I finished my other side drawing, bro. I want to see. My friends whistle at me like how you recall a dog, just like, and you're just like, huh? I also think I do recall on whistles. If someone were to whistle at me, I'd be like, huh? Like, yeah, being somebody who's like really into all of this kind of stuff is definitely hard, especially because like, even though there's a huge community of people who are super okay with it, and there's also a huge community of people who are okay with it, but definitely think it's weird. And you kind of, I've gotten really used to like the reactions that you get of people being like, oh, okay, like that look of like, hey, I mean, I'm not gonna judge you, but like the look that, you know, the tone of voice, the look that people give you when they're like, do whatever you want, but like, I think that's weird. Like, I don't know. And it's definitely something like I used to participate in a lot because like I was always afraid to be othered. Like I'm an adult. I know it, like I shouldn't still be acting like a teenager, but like I'm not gonna say that I don't like have those fears of being, you know, being the other, being like, oh, I'm the one being weird right now. All the people are making fun of me. So people will be like, oh yeah, it's so weird when people do that. And I'm like, ha, yeah, isn't that weird? Don't look at me. Like, I still have that like gut reaction to be like, I don't want to be the other. I don't want to be the weird one. But like, it means I'm just like perpetuating the same thing of like acting like these people are weird for just doing things that make them happy. Which is crazy. Because like, fuck it, man. Whatever makes you happy, dude. And yeah, sometimes wearing a collar makes me happy. Wearing a tail makes me happy. Oh my god, wearing tails at concerts, fucking so much fun. Obscenely fun. It should not be that fun, but it is. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things that like, I know I have like a great group of friends who like, none of them are like judging me of like, oh, what a weirdo, like, oh, how cringe or whatever. But it doesn't mean like I don't still get the looks of like, whatever you say, buddy. Like, I'm not gonna stop you, but man, that's still weird. Like, it's, yeah, I don't know. Every time people whistle, it triggers my tics, and I find that so interesting. There's only certain types of whistles that trigger me to like echolalia. Dan, do you ever figure out if you're ultra human? I have no idea. I don't even know how to define something like that. I don't think I would ever wear the label of it because I probably don't. I'm not confident that I know enough about it or me to like wear the label. But like, I don't know. I'm something. I don't know if I have a label for it or if I even need or want a label for it. But like, I'm definitely, I have the thing in me that other normal people don't have. When you want to say normal people, like normal human people beings, like normal people don't, how do I phrase this? I don't even mean normal. The average person doesn't long for body parts they don't have. But also, I don't experience any type of like, I know I've seen people talk about like animal dysphoria. Like, it's very rare that I come across like a genuine like aching feeling of like, holy shit, I'm dying because I don't have this. You know, I've had that for wings, unfortunately, but beyond that, I don't wear a tail because I'm like, I don't feel like me without a tail. I wear a tail because it makes me happy. And it's fun. I don't know. I've been using bruh in every sentence. It's annoying me. What's alterhuman? People who are, there you go. Umbrella term for Therians, other canon furries, physical non-humans and physical shifters, clinical lycanthropes, non-human alters. So anybody who is physically a human, but internally maybe partially or fully something else. Like, you're in a human body, but there's something else up there. And the thing is, I don't know how mentally, clinically, emotionally, medically, therapy, psychologically, sociologically, how any of that works. I really am super undereducated on a lot of it. And I don't think any of it needs to be clinical or proven or whatever. I would love research into it to see, you know, like origins, like if you could find like a pattern of origin, like, I am biologically human, physically canine in the way that I am bio-AFAB, but boy. Bio-AFAB, but boy. Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things that like, I'm certain that there's something like clinically, like psychologically that goes on in that. Like there's something there and I don't know what it is, but I think like logistically it would be really interesting to find out, like, you know, are there consistencies to that? Is there like a pattern that can be found in like, why does this originate in people? Where does it come from? Where does it start? How, like, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. There's a lot there that I'd be interested in knowing and finding out. Drawing this fuck ass hair driving me nuts. Or orange in my mouth. I don't even like oranges. Not even orange, a blue. What is happening? What is going on? Thanks for the update, Rod. Do you ever look at people and like assign them an animal based off of their features? Yes? Assign me one. Ever eaten a blue, Xander? A blue. Yes. Blue. Blue for chat. Have a blue chat. It's for chat. Have some. Enjoy. No. Holy shit, it's eating a blue! Did you just splash us a blue's ass? I totally did. Open. Open! There we go. How are those so close, or did you sprint? My kitchen is right there. Like, hang on. I don't think my camera is far enough to... Hang on, I can do this. Let me just, camera. Okay, hang on. Have you never seen during subathons? Okay. So, just... Okay. These are my screens, right? There you are, chat. Okay, ready? Door. It's right there. It's right there. I live in an apartment. This isn't a house. My entire apartment is within a 15-second walk. I don't pay attention to the journey to the kitchen. But you should pay more attention to the journey to the kitchen. My neck, my back, got your mama on my sack, my check, my rack. It's the return of the motherfucking Mac and the bins are back. No. That's not what I wanted. Boop. Anyways. We went on an adventure. It's literally right there. Terrio's been in my house. Oh. Blueberries. I'm no better than a toddler when it comes to fruit. I love fruit. I forget the room is backwards. It is. If I were to if I take this real quick. This is how my room actually is. This is my actual room. This is to the right, and this is to the left. Left, right. That's my door right there. This feels wrong. This is quite bad. Yeah. It's weird, eh? It's weird. Scary. All right. Oh, sorry. I'm a hazard to myself. So let me get me. I'm my own worst enemy. The way you would know yourself. There we go. We're back to normal. Alright, back to drawing Jace. I wanna be somebody else. And he's got a stupid little lip ring. Okay. Anyways, yeah. Oh, did somebody say they... Rotten, did you say you finished yours? Is it time for me to go see yours real quick? He's got such a stupid little lip ring. Fridge art. I have to sneeze. Ooh. Ooh, the other side. Ooh. Bro. That's an album cover. That's like absolutely an album cover. I want to be there. I want to be this one. I'll be this one right here. That's funky. Or I could be this one. Oh dear. Anyways. I quite like that. Big fan. I was supposed to be writing words, not music. It's okay, it happens to me all the time. I also think maybe I need to curve it less. Because we're seeing it from a side perspective. Okay. That's probably good. Okay. I sent a doctor appointment today and they were like, he probably has autism. And I'm kind of like, oh, no, duh. Do I draw references or just die? Rotten, unfortunately, you do draw references. Super unfortunate. Loving this. Hey, Tango. Good to see you. I'm doing character references for Art Fight because I have to. I have no choice. I have no choice. Art Fight is holding me hostage. It's holding me by the goddamn balls and I'm losing. Okay. All right, cool. I want like just a little bit of a heavier lid for him. Like my dude's tired. This man, tired. This is a tired boy. I don't want like that. That's too much. This is fine. This works. Couldn't be me. Oh my god. Our friend is holding you at gunpoint. Yeah, pretty much. Tango Tech, mwahaha, oh no, autism. Autism buff. Okay, wait, back to the signing people animals. You'd be a why am I a rhino? Like, does that make sense? Why? No, it doesn't make sense. I need to know. I need to know, what am I? And why am I a rhino? A rhino? Like am I endangered? Please don't kill me for my ivory. You look like one. You saying I've got a big nose? You saying I have a big nose? I mean, it's true, but like... No, I'm kidding. I promise I'm not offended. I look like a rhino. I gotta go look up a rhino. Just to like, make eye contact. Rhino. Look at that guy. That's a man. I don't know, maybe I'm a rhino. Am I a rhino, guys? Is this what I look like? Somebody Photoshop me and this rhino together. Wait, I guess I gotta look this way. I feel like this is my better side. I don't know. Okay. Me and this rhino. Do we look the same? Real ones know that Xander is actually a swarm of bees, or maybe we are. Is this me? Is that me right there? Why do I kind of agree with you? I don't know, man. There's something about this that, like, maybe you have a point. Hold on. Why does this... Why do I kind of get it? Why do I like... Why... That's me for real. I don't like that I get it. I don't like that I get it. I don't like that. Yeah, that I get it. I don't know, man. Somebody make me a rhino persona now. I see it. Autism, man, I don't know. This is my Roman Empire. If Xander's a rhino, we're that one bird that doesn't leave them alone. To me, you're a Hercules beetle. Bro, yes. I love me a Hercules beetle. I like the idea of me being a rhino and you guys being the little bird that sits on my shoulders. I like that as well. Also, I like the Hercules beetle. I see it was a maned wolf. That also checks. Rhino beetle? It all comes together. Hang on, let me pull up a rhino beetle. Hang on, let me get a good image. I need a good one. Give me a... Is this your man? Is this your man? Pull up to her house. Is this your man? Anyways, I'm losing my mind. Draw me a persona, except I'm a rhino or a fucking rhino beetle, or an ant, or a maned wolf. Maned wolves are dope as fuck. I would, but I'm so ass at drawing. No, I trust you. I trust you. Fully trust you. I have full faith in your abilities. Don't, bro, I got stick figures. Perfect. That's exactly what I need. Get on it. To keep me, Jesus Christ, don't be kind to it. Honey, don't feed it, it will come back. Someone will like guarantee. Is this your man? I was thinking Xander being a type of bird. I could be. Wait, what brush do you use for your line art? This is dry ink. It's dry ink. That's my brush. And it does do. See? I thought about it, but Xander does have bird face, doesn't it? It doesn't have bird face. I've always thought I did only because I have a bird beak. Like if I turn to the side, I have like the hooked nose and it points down. Like I fully have like a bird beak nose. I used to be really insecure about it, but like, I don't know, man. Yeah, there's something about it that I was always really insecure about it. I like it nowadays. I love my nose now, but like I was really insecure growing up. I'm like obsessed with my nose. Snape nose? No, for real. I that's why if you pull up my character in the lore, there he is. There's my man. Boop. That's my nose. They're my favorite type of nose. Obsessed with it. If I was a bird, I'd be a blue-fitted booby. Just so I could be a booby. Boop. Boop. Gotta redo your fucking ear again. Yeah. Boobies, perfect. My cat came to watch stream. Hi, kitty cat. For you in particular. Meow. 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 For your cat, not for you. I was asking him a question, or her. I don't know your cat's gender. Maybe that was the question. It's between us. It's not about you. God. Hear me out. Linealated parakeet. Hold on. Linealated parakeet. That's just a parakeet. That is a green parakeet. This your man? This your man? Mr. Rhino Beetle. What clothes do I draw you in, Mr. Rhino Beetle? What does a rhino beetle wear? Really? What does a rhino beetle wear? What does a rhino beetle put on in the morning? They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. Armor? I mean, I guess. I don't know. I tend to wear just t-shirts and like funky jeans and shit. I don't know. Or funky shorts. My stupid little my patch shorts. I conditioning. I say I did 100 push-ups and squats. I'm so sore. I feel you. I'm like magically secure in my fat body lately. It's wild. Crazy. I'm going through the opposite. I've been really secure in my body for like months. And recently, like the past like 2 or 3 weeks, I feel awful about my body again. Cause it comes and goes in waves, man. It comes and goes in waves. I've been like super into my own body for months, and now like the past like 2 weeks, I'm like, wow, this sucks. Everything's awful. Like I have no idea why. No idea. And it's fine. It does this all the time, man. I'll be fine again in a couple of weeks. Like it's just comes and goes in waves. That's just life. So right now I'm just simply vibing, and I'm getting to enact the rule that all of us have to face, which is I don't really care if you like your body or not. It's not really about that. It's not about you liking it. It's about the fact that it's still your body, and you still have to take care of it, even if you don't like it. Think you're fat today? Sucks. Have a meal. Give it what it needs to do to survive. You can choose not to like your body someday. You can't choose to just stop taking care of it. You still live in this thing. You don't have to like where you live. You still have to take care of it. You can't just knock the goddamn building down. Cheno. Rhino beetle in a rhino costume. Like, if I were to draw a beetle, it would be like a human with armor. Yeah, that reads. Did you tell it not to? What does this mean? Did you tell it not to? Tell what not to? My brain? My body? all of it. Tyrio, apparently, because she's gonna knock the building down. Tyrio's gonna knock the building down because it's funny. My brain. Yeah, I've kind of pulled away from, I used to do that. I used to have like the bad, like, you know, I'd have the bad thoughts of like, oh God, you're so ugly, you're so fat, whatever. And I'd have the bad thought and then I'd be like, God, no, bad. You're not allowed to have that thought. That's a bad thought to have. But I've kind of just accepted that, like, okay, all right, trigger warning for ED conversation. I'm not gonna get into detail. I'm just gonna, the conversation has come up, so I will address it. I had an eating disorder for many years in my life. And part of the things that you accept when you're dealing with recovery from an eating disorder is that they're awful. Eating disorders are fucking actually insane. And it doesn't, I mean, this isn't true for everybody, but for a lot of people, it doesn't really matter how much work you do or what kind of work you do. There's going to be a part of you that never forgets. Do you know what I mean? And that's life. Like, you can go into remission, you know, you don't act on the thoughts anymore, but that doesn't mean the thoughts just like magically go away one day. You're not like magically cured and everything's fine now. Like, I will always have the same brain that dealt with an eating disorder for, God, what, nearly a decade? No, not quite. It was like, yeah, like nearly a decade, like 8 years. I don't know. I didn't eat any disorder for like 8 years. Like, I will always live inside this brain. Though, like, those thoughts will always be there. It just means that I can grow past them. Do you know what I mean? Like, when people say it gets better, they mean that. It does get better. They don't say it goes away, because that's a lie for a lot of us. I really thought I would outgrow having an eating disorder and one day I would just be okay and I'd never have to think about it again. And that's just not true. And I know for a fact that one of the reasons that I'm dealing with all of my thoughts right now and having to deal with the stupid voices in my head are because I've been going to the gym recently. Something that I haven't done since I had an eating disorder. Because every time I thought I was far enough into recovery to start going to the gym again, I would go to the gym and the obsession would kick on like a fucking light. And suddenly I couldn't stop and I didn't know how to regulate myself. And so I could trust my bad thought. I trusted my own process, my own brain to register what I was doing, go, oops, that's bad, and stop going to the gym again. I've tried a lot over the years to go back to the gym. I could never do it in a healthy way. Recently, I've decided to start going to the gym again. And I'm working through the process of the thoughts are there. And it's like, hey, we're back at doing this again. Woohoo! And I'm like, no, we're not. We're eating all of our meals. We're eating healthier. But like, we're going to eat all of our meals. And yeah, I'm allowed to go work out because what I'm trying to do right now is build up muscle for post-top surgery. I'm trying to recover my top surgery muscle and feel more comfortable in my body. Does that mean it's going to kick up the bad thoughts sometimes? Yeah. But I'm not a bad person. And I'm not a bad brain because I have bad thoughts. So I've kind of switched gears on that one. What color beetle do you want to be? Green. Are beetles green? Can I be iridescent like the bar? Like that? Can I be iridescent? Can I be that color? I'm kidding. You don't have to color that. But yeah. So I've switched processes right now. So instead of being like bad thought, don't think like that, my current process is essentially I'm babying it. I am parenting my brain, where my brain goes, God, you look fat today. And I go, okay, you know, that's a big feeling. You're having a big feeling right now, and that's fine. Let's go have a meal anyways. You can still have the thought, it's still gonna be there. That's okay. That's fine. We're just gonna keep living. We're gonna move on. It's a thought. Can't hurt you. Can't touch you. Doesn't do anything. And blueberries still taste great. You know? Anyways, I'll stop the conversation about that because I know that can be really sensitive for people. Also, Ash Nico's on and I love this song. Hi, it's me, York again, here to remind you that he's not worth it. Hi, it's me, your best friend, Take his old t-shirt off and burn it. Repeat after me, I'm over it. Yeah, we're so over. Yeah, it's so over. Ah, I hate freckles. Okay. And do our best here. So I have to like, he's fully covered in freckles. It's just darker in some places than others. This fucker is covered in these things. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Something like that. Changing subject back to animal thing for a second. Viewer SMP Loki is an animal. Would he still be a raven or a different animal? I feel like raven's really good for him. My first thought was that's a lot of... Yeah, it's just... Yeah. No. With it being almost summer, my freckles are getting so much darker and people actually notice them. I always wanted freckles. I wanted freckles so bad growing up. My best friend had them and I was so jealous. Ugh, I just want to have freckles. Oh, I did that on the line art layer. Right. Right. I don't care. Oh well. Whatever. Line art freckles, I guess. That's just what we get today. That's fine. Okay. Actually, Zane, question. Do music submissions count for a prompt? Sure. I have so many, but sometimes I just look dirty. I don't know, man. I love the way that looks. Freckles darkening in the sun buddies, yes. Body's a ginger, so freckles galore. I want freckles. All of you are losers. Hand them over. Hand them over. Well, I had a high school... I'm gonna be honest. That's my high school boyfriend. I didn't mean to, but Jace looks just like one of my high school boyfriends. Like, just like him. I didn't mean to, but the more I look at him, I'm like, oh, there he is. I dated him. He was my first kiss. Weird. Oop, rip ads. I'm gonna find this guy now. Yeah, go hunt him down. I'm sure he really liked that. Oh, I didn't do like a background design for him yet. I also don't know what else I need to add to his. That's not what I wanted to do, but whatever. So he's a Drawrian. Is that how I used to spell it? God, it's my own word and I don't know how to spell it. I invented this word and I don't know how to spell it. Is it Drawrian? Yeah, it is. Drawrian. Jerry will sniff him out. Yeah, I'm gonna use Jace's reference as his missing person poster. No! Don't do that. Yeah, I don't know. He was a guy. Oh, that handwriting is awful. Hey, can we try that again? Take it from the top, King. Drorian Hunter. That's better. Okay, so he uses a gun. So I'll just sketch a gun in here. This is what guns look like, right? And this is the grip or something. And then there's a gun. Cool. Actually, I don't think he uses a gun. I think I specified that he uses a bow. I think he does not, in fact, he does use a gun at one point. There is one point he uses a gun. You guys are never gonna get to hear that part. Okay, sorry. I had an emotion there. I had a big emotion. I was having a big emotion. So for those of you who don't know, which is very few of you at this point, but those of you who want to know, Jace and Embry are two of my OCs that are from a book I wrote. And you say wrote, and I say yes, wrote. Like it's pretty much a finished book. This is my book. It's a book. It's a book. I wrote a book. And I will never publish this book because it's not good. It's not well written. And I decided that I will never publish it because it's not my place to speak. It's not a story I need to tell. I don't know. It was a really fun book to write. I had a lot of fun with it. It's not worth the effort that I put into it, unfortunately. Maybe one day I'll revive it, but like I feel like I'd get torn apart because it does discuss really heavy topics like slavery. And if you can't tell, I'm white, and it's not my place to be telling stories about slavery. But I did, and I really loved doing it, and it meant a lot to me when I wrote it. It's just not good enough to actually publish. Yeah, I'm white. I glow. Like, if I turn my light off, it's not so dramatic. It's just as dramatic. I'm a liar. I'm awful. But can you give me an example of non-visual description? Describing a room in any way that is not physical. So the room was arid, which means hot and dry. It chapped my lips immediately. I licked my lips to try to regain some sort of moisture. Every time I took a step, the sound of my footsteps echoed through the empty room, ringing off of the distant walls. Okay, so now we know it's big, it's empty. I took a deep breath, and the arid air smelt like sulfur. The ashes still scattered across the walls in a way that, stuck to the bottom of your feet when you walked. Like it, any description of a room that isn't physical. Anyways, there's a part in this book that I was really proud of, that I really wanted people to read. No, not damp and moist. But those are non-physical description, or not visual descriptions. There are two parts of this book that mean a lot to me that people will never get to read, and that's the bath scene and the escape scene. Yes, there's a bath scene. It's not where somebody's taking a bath. It's a scene at the edge of a bath where Jace is washing Embry's back. And I want to die. And then there's also a scene with the escape. And it means so much to me. There is one part of the book where Jace uses a gun. Let's see. I want to see if I can find it for you. What is that? Like, God, there's so many chunks where I was editing it myself and I would just cross entire things off. Also, oh, you can't read it because it's backwards. That says human city name. Human city name. I hadn't decided on a name yet. This is a manuscript. It's not a finished copy. Okay, hang on, let me see. Oh my god, it's not even in this it's not even printed. It was written post-printing. Let me see if I can find it. Is it this? Oh, I forgot about this scene too. Oh my god, there's so many good ones. Iris, first Starfight Wrestling posted, let's go. Yeah, there's so many one-shots of this book that I wish I could post, but the book itself is just so mid. It's just so mid. I'm really trying to find the part that I'm looking for, but I just don't know where it could possibly be. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's one of these chapters. Oh, it's in here. Yeah, I found it. I don't know. There's just little, maybe I will post these as one shots. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. This book has so many good pieces to it, but the book itself is so mid. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. I pulled it up and it's not, it was so good in my head. It was so magical in my head. But there's so, it's just like without all of the buildup and all of the like the entire chapter, it doesn't matter. I don't know. Maybe I'll reread this book and maybe it's not as bad as I think. I don't know. Maybe. I know there are definitely chunks of it that are just as bad as I think they are, but right now my focus is not rewriting Those That Fear Us. It's finishing Lamb of God. That's the goal. Which part? Ollie, it's chapter 18. It's the auction and the auction and what happens after. Don't be shy, give us a little story time. Ugh, God. How much story time? Because chapter 18 is a lot, and it's really, really deep into the story. Like, that's really close to the end. That's like end game stuff. Because there's only, there's 20 chapters. Chapter 18 is the second to last chapter. Like, oh my god, Ollie's on here. Hi, Ollie. Hi, you're on the document. I was specifically, if you're in there, I was talking about this chunk. This is that's the chunk I was talking about. Hi, she says. Do you guys want a tiny, tiny, tiny chunk of chapter 18, the second to last chapter of the entire story? I have to give you context though, and the context, it ruins a chunk. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm never publishing this. So Embry in this book is a Drorian. What is a Drorian? It's a non-human character. So if you look at Embry, they are a human animal hybrid. Drorians are human animal hybrids. They come in every shape and form. Of every type of animal exists, there's a Drorian that exists of them. And they are treated as lesser than by the humans. Humans also exist. If you were to ask Drorians why they exist, they would say that because God believed that humans were destroying the earth, and so the gods created people who could be the border between humans and animals, something that combined the two of them to create something more than. So they believed themselves to be closer to nature and therefore closer to God. If you asked humans why Drorians exist, they would say that it was a punishment for sin. They literally became less than human, subhuman. They became animalistic creatures, and those, like, the disfigurations that make them part human are a physical manifestation of sin, essentially. Thus, they are lesser than creatures. So humans treat Drorians like lesser than creatures, and therefore they use them as slaves. They literally kidnap them and sell them on this massive, awful black market, essentially. And Embry's entire story is his best friend got kidnapped by the humans and sold off, and he spends the entire story trying to get him back, and in doing so gets caught himself and runs into Jace, who is a human hunter who changes his ways and decides to try to help Embry escape instead. He changes his ways and he's like, instead of, holding you captive, I'm gonna help you escape. Okay, that's the point of all of this. In chapter 18, Embry has been kidnapped in a means to try to get undercover and figure things out. Embry got, let themselves be captured, and they're being held in a cage and literally auctioned off. But essentially, it goes wrong, right? Embry is spending the entire day standing in a cage waiting to be sold off to the highest bidder. And then they're supposed to take the one moment where this is literally the climax of the entire story. I'm ruining the climax of the book, and at this point, I just don't care. I'm going to ruin the climax of my book. I wrote this 4 years ago. I'm ruining it. Fuck you. This is me letting go. Embry is supposed to, in the moments between being chained above their heads and being chained in front of them, they are supposed to book it. They're supposed to run. Okay? Here's what happens instead. Oh God, I can't believe I'm gonna read this real quick. Everybody ready? An empty chat makes me nervous that everybody's tuned out, but I'm gonna trust that you're here and listening. Okay. How much do you want? Do you want him being sold as well? Do you want him being sold as well? How far back do I need to go? Like, from the moment, I'm so, okay, you're all listening. Okay. I understand. I want it all. Okay. Okay, the Soldierians are let off stage and Jace realizes the agonizing countdown has come to end. It's time for the third group. It's time for Embry to take the stage. I'm pausing the music. Okay. A guard approaches Embry's cage and they look up with puffy eyes. The guard snickers at their sad appearance. Cheer up, little beast. No one wants to buy a depressed slave. He chuckles, unlocking their wrists and holding them firmly behind their back. Another guard takes the end of their leash, glancing at them in disgust before leading them towards the stage along with the others. 2 cages ahead of Embry, Ingrid is also taken from her cage and led towards the stage. She's the first one in line to be auctioned off in this group. Embry climbs the wooden stairs to the stage, sparing a glance out in the crowd. They catch a glimpse of dirty blonde hair among the guards and feel emotion grip their gut, turning their gaze back to the wood beneath their feet. That hair's Jace, by the way. The stage creaks and moans under the soldiers' boots as they line up the captives under the watchful eyes of a greedy crowd. Embry doesn't dare look out into the mass of bidders as the guard lifts their arms, securing them tightly to the shackles above. The guard leaves the stage, and the humans begin to ascend the stairs. They file onto the stage, walking slowly around those on display. Embry keeps their head down, trying not to attract attention, yet much to their dismay, a human approaches them regardless. The man smells of ale and dirty gold. He circles Embry slowly like a predator, running a finger under their jaw to lift their face. Embry glares as the man grips their chin, turning their face side to side, inspecting it. It takes everything in them not to spit on the man's ugly face. He taps on Embry's horn, making them flinch away from the grasp he has on their chin. A hand flies up and their face snaps to the side as the man backhands him. What a poorly trained beast you are to flinch from my touch. Somebody needs to train you with a far sterner hand. He looks down, scanning Embry's scarred chest. Clearly, you have a history of misbehaving. He looks up with a grin that flips Embry's stomach. I like a worker with some fight in them. You'll be coming home with me, Drorian. He spits the word Drorian like bile from his mouth, turning and walking off the stage as the bidding begins. Embry watches closely as Ingrid is bid off first. A few people fight for her, but quickly a slender man with a long nose wins and steps up to the stage to claim her. They watch with bated breath as the guard removes her shackles and hands her over to the man. That moment, the few seconds where she is unrestrained before the man who brought her clamps on his own set of cuffs, that's the moment they're waiting for. They watch her being led off towards the back of the crowd where she stands with shaking knees beside her captor. Embry locks their vision onto her, resolve hardening in their chest like the pit in their stomach. The next Drorian in line are sold off without much of Embry's attention as they steel their nerves to take what they know is their only chance to get out of here. Jace's face swims through their head, his amber eyes, his gentle touches, and they struggle to take a slow and steady breath. Ram-horned Drorian, young, fit, full of energy, 80 gold pieces. If you're just here, I'm reading you a small I'm essentially reading you the climax of my book. Just come with me. The paddles in the crowd go up, taking interest in buying Embry, and purchasing a living person as a slave. A sea of sickness washes over Embry as the number of gold pieces rise. The man who had spoken to them keeps his arm raised, beady eyes locked onto his target. The bidding seems to drag on for years as the tension in their body grows like a rubber band threatening to snap at any moment. Finally, they hear it. Sold. Embry's muscles bunch up like springs as the man approaches across the stage, a greedy smile on his face. The guard reaches up, unlocking their wrist from the stationary cuff above them. This is it. The moment they've waited for all day. They command their legs to run, their fists to swing, their head to thrash, any movement at all that would knock the guard away. Adrenaline shoots through them, commanding every muscle to move at once, and yet, for the life of them, nothing moves. Panic begins to settle into their mind, their thoughts screaming, "Run!" but to no avail. The guard lowers their hands into the new cuffs the man is holding out for them. The cold metal snaps shut around their wrists with a gut-wrenching click. The moment's passed. It's too late. The snide man tugs on Embry's wrists, forcing them to stumble forward on stiff, shaking legs. No coherent thoughts can form, only panic alarms blaring as every system in their body seems to fail. Desperately, they look out at the crowd and catch Jace's face in the line of guards. His golden eyes are wide in disbelief as he seems to realize that Embry had failed. The escape wasn't going to happen. Jace disappears into the crowd from the line of guards, and Embry is tugged along by their wrist, quickly losing sight of him. They failed. The one thing they were meant to do, the one chance they were given, and they had failed spectacularly. The man, Embry's new owner, walks down the stairs confidently while they stumble behind him. On the last stair, their shaking knees give out and they stumble, hitting the ground with a thud. The man scoffs, yanking them up violently. Useless beasts, he mutters, and before Embry can react, the man backhands him again. The rings on his fat fingers slice open Embry's skin, leaving a stinging red line across their cheekbone. Embry only stares straight ahead, desperately fighting back the tears that well in their eyes as their owner leads them towards the back of the crowd, where their proud new owners are gathered with their slaves. Embry spots Ingrid, a brave expression painted on her young face as she stands beside the man who bought her. If they can't even save themselves, how would they ever expect to save her too? Hey, a stern voice shouts from behind them over the sound of the auction currently selling the next in line. Embry would know that voice anywhere, and their heart climbs up into their throat. Their owner whips around, and they do as well to see Jace push his way out of the back of the crowd and approach them, a look of pure determination in his eyes. Embry swallows past the lump in their throat, terrified of what Jace might say or do. His words from earlier ring in his mind. What I have to do is make sure you get over that wall tonight. That's it. And I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that happens. That's what Jace had said. Surely he wouldn't do something horribly drastic. Not now. Not in front of everyone. That would be suicide, right? Jace's amber eyes glow with a fury Embry hadn't seen before. His jaw clenched so tight you could see it as he approaches quickly with sure, heavy steps on his boots. Heavy step of his boots. On the ground, Jace says, his voice deep and commanding. Embry watches in horror as he pulls a pistol from his side holster while he walks. Jace, what are you? Now! Jace shouts. Embry's blood runs cold as he realizes Jace isn't talking to his captor. The gun of his barrel is pointed directly at them and he isn't slowing down. They're frozen, watching him approach, unsure of what to do or say, unsure of who this new Jace even is. Jace grabs out with his free hand as soon as he reaches them, takes a fistful of Embry's hair and throws them to the ground, yanking the chains from the hands of their owner. Embry looks up in shock from the ground to see the owner reel around on Jace. Now who the hell do you think you... The wide man starts, when Jace quickly turns the pistol on him. He places the metal barrel between the man's eyes and without a breath of hesitation pulls the trigger. The gunshot rings out, deafeningly loud as the man crumples to the ground, a hole gone straight through his brain. Embry watches in horror as Jace once again brings his focus to them. He lifts his knee and Embry flinches, squeezing their eyes shut, expecting a kick. Instead, Jace brings the heel of his heavy boots down on the shackles around his wrists, snapping the thin chain that linked them together. Jace wraps a hand around Embry's arm, dragging them back to their feet, and though their knees shake like fall leaves. Jace, they stutter, unable to quite form words around their fear. What did you... Run. Jace cuts them off. Right now, run. Jace turns away from Embry to face the stunned crowd still turning to face them. Everyone seems frozen in place trying to figure out what had just happened. Go! Jace screams, and everything comes back to life at once. Embry turns on their heels and sprints towards Ingrid. The man holding her screams and throws her aside as Embry charges him, horns first. With their right arm around her waist, they scoop Ingrid up and continue hauling across the lawn. Soldiers have sprung to life, whipping out guns and aiming for the runaway, but Jace is quicker. For every man that starts after Embry, Jace lays a bullet into them, watching them thud to the grass, screaming in pain. Embry doesn't dare look back, keeps their eyes locked on the crack in the wall. Ingrid doesn't thrash on their arms, instead she knows what's going on, wraps her legs around them, clings on to her savior for dear life. They sprint past rows of cages, empty, and some others holding Drorians with wide eyes, watching as the escape takes place. Anyways, I won't go into all of it, because it keeps going, and going, and going, and going. The rest of this is just a run. But that image was the thing in my head, right? That's the climax of the book. I've just spoiled the entire book for you now, okay? But I had this image in my head. Right, Embry's being held by a guy. Jace is walking, dead eyes, okay? Pulls a pistol out directly at Embry, because what he's trying to do is get Embry away from the man, right? He just wants him to be far enough from the gun that it doesn't blow his fucking ears out, right? So he grabs Embry, throws him down, because it's the best way to get him out of range, and then fucking gun between this man's eyes, and not a breath, it's just whoop, ping, like gone. And Embry has never seen Jace hurt anybody before. But it's just this immediate, like, get out of my way. He's dead. Fucking run. Like, there's a lot. There's so much. I could keep going through the end of it, but like, sorry. But yeah. Keep going? All right, whatever. Fine. I'll finish just this chunk of it. You get the end of this chunk. Okay. They sprint past rows of cages, some empty, others hold Drorians watching with wide eyes and slack jaws. Hold on, they say to Ingrid as they approach the concrete barrier. She shifts in their arms, throwing her bound wrists over their head to hold on to their neck. Gunshots ring out behind them and chaos echoes the courtyard in the form of screams. Embry's heart pounds in their chest as all the adrenaline that had built up in their muscles is finally put to use, their legs screaming as they close in on the wall. A cry leaves them as they jump at the solid wall, jamming their foot into the crack. Just as Jay said, it's just enough to boost them up, and their fingertips curl around the top of the wall. They grunt in pain as they claw their way up, feet scrambling against the smooth stone. They grasp at the edge, pulling themselves up until they can throw a leg over the top of the wall, straddling it. Despite their best thoughts, Embry looks back at the scene below. They scan the grass as people scatter in all directions when finally they spot him, a head of dirty blonde hair among the crowd. Jace's eyes are locked onto them even from this distance. He opens his mouth, but in that moment another gunshot rings out and Jace crumples to the ground. Embry screams before they can stop themselves, but in the courtyard, Jace props himself up on one elbow, looking up to where they're perched. Embry can see Jace's mouth opening, screaming either in pain or in telling them to run. They stare just a moment longer before a bullet ricochets off the wall just an inch from their leg, reminding them they have to move. They swing their other leg over the wall and toss themselves over, landing lithely at the base of the wall. Ingrid is near hyperventilation, clutching onto Embry desperately as they once again take off at a sprint. Being a Drorian has its perks. Embry knew they could outclimb, run, and jump more than any human in Tontago. They dart around street corners, beelining it for the gateway out of the city. Somewhere behind them, a horn blares through the city, ripping through the air and sending shivers down Embry's spine. If the guards close the gates before they reach it, it's over. There's no way over the towering walls that encase the city in concrete. Staying in the city means certain capture, and what capture could possibly mean for their future, or Ingrid's future, was too painful to imagine. Embry ducks their head low, wrapping their arms tighter around the panicked mess of a child in their arms, and pushes themselves to run faster. The sound of their feet slapping against the stone roads echoes the alleys they sprint through, coupled with the horns still blaring from behind. They take a corner, whipping around the building into the crowded shopping district. The street is lined with people, already looking around, trying to determine the cause of the alarms. Embry has no time to slow down and simply shoves through the crowd. People start to take notice of them as they shove through the open-air market, broken shackles still hanging around their wrists, a panicked look of desperation in their eyes that could put any town loon to shame. Shouts echo off the stalls as people begin screaming. The crowd begins to part in fear to let Embry dash past. As much as the parting made it easier to run, suddenly all eyes are on them, and the sound of stomping soldiers' boots are quick to follow. Lights in nearby houses flicker on, and shades are cracked open to watch the spectacle of the horned beast running through empty streets. Another turn and the gates are in sight. Embry spots the only chance there is of escape. The large opening in the gates where carts and horses walk through. The heavy iron gate is slow to close, and guards have already begun shutting off the open walkways. The guards at the gate, while still menacing, seem less prepared to deal with a Drorian than those working at the compound. Most stare at Embry's approaching form in horror or disgust, so Embry tucks their chin to their chest as they approach the human wall of guards leading with their strong curved horns. With a deep breath, they release the most primal, inhuman scream they can muster from all of the pain and fear and rage that pumps through their veins. One guard cracks, flinches at the approach, raising his shield to cower behind, and Embry takes their opening, horns colliding with the hard shield full speed, the impact throwing the already startled guard onto their back. With agile steps, Embry lands on the ground, stepping directly on his chest and pushing off, leaving the man breathless and behind. The remainder of the wall break formation, some too startled to act, others taking up chase as Embry sprints towards the familiar tree line. Chest heaving, every intake of breath burns like fire in their lungs, but Embry puts one foot in front of the other, sprinting off into the forest as if the hounds of hell were at their heels. And there you go. So, that's chapter 18. That's essentially the almost end of the book. That's the book. That's the climax. I just read you the climax of the book. I can't believe that. I've just spoiled the climax of this book, which is fine because you're never going to read it. You're never going to read it. I want to read this story so bad now. Maybe someday I'll rewrite it. Whisper screaming right now. It's really nice to know, because like I'm reading that back and like it was so cool in my head, and even reading that back, the writing quality for me now is so low. Like you should release one chapter a year on AO3. Yeah, that's the plan. If I can prove to myself I can actually really finish a book, maybe I will, but the reason I decided to shelf Those That Fear Us is because it deals really heavy with the concept of slavery. And there's a lot of people online who have made it very clear that the story of slavery, whether in a fantasy or non-fantasy sense, isn't one that's supposed to be told from a white perspective. And I am a white, and this is a perspective that isn't technically mine to share. And there's 100,000 stories about fantasy slavery, and I don't need to add to the narrative. I don't need to be just another one. But like, I also feel like maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's okay, maybe it's not. I guess I'm not the one who gets to decide something like that. And I don't know. I don't know, man. And I don't want to excuse it as like, well, everybody does it, so it's fine if I do. I don't want to do it if it's something that damages a community. But like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Where's the bath scene? That's the pub. Chapter 6. Ollie? Why was that so fast? Why was that? I mean, I don't know. Not sure. Why did you have that on lock? Why did you have that on lock? Did you go look it up when I was talking about it, or do you just really like that scene? What's going on? I am Ollie. You know what? You're so right. That's such a good answer. God, this is written so Wattpad. Ah! I am Steve. Thank you. Thank you for that. Do you guys want the bath scene? I can give you that, but like, we like Wattpad. More story time. I'm not going to be able to finish all Embry's drawing on stream today then. I will read you a chunk of this, but I was supposed to work on lore tonight at some point, but I can, well, I could maybe finish Jace's. Maybe I can finish Embry's today. It's fine. Oh, All right. Bath chapter. Me when I derail the stream as always. That's so real of you. Thank you for doing that. All right, story time. All right, Ollie, do you want to change this? Do you want to game set just chatting just for this point? Chat has spoken. We want bath time. All right. Oh, I don't remember if it's game set. It's set. Yeah, it's one of those. There you go. I always do it wrong. Sorry. Okay. Bath scene, everybody. How much of it do you want again? How far back do I need to go? Do I give you the full chunk? Nobody look at me, I'm learning. It's okay, we're all learning. I'm learning G. Learning. All right. I want to say, but it's 3 a.m. I'm sorry. This can be your bedtime story. It's bedtime story time. Okay. Welcome to chapter 6. We are rewinding a shit ton. Chapter 6. To give you context, Embry was kidnapped by Arya. Arya is the main bad guy of this book, and she tortured Embry while they were kidnapped, including whipping. That is a form of torture in this book that is discussed. So those wounds will be discussed in this chapter. They have now escaped the compound, and they are at Jace's house. All right. Everybody good? Everybody understand what's going on? Cool. Great. Night, Toast Cat. Jace rises well before the sun does. He woke repeatedly throughout the night, plagued by nightmares of the general finding him. The general is Arya, by the way. The person he just broke away from. Jace was a soldier of Arya, so he has broken every law ever to run away from her and take Embry with. Finally, he gives up on sleep and gets up, slipping into soft fleece pants and a thermal shirt. He walks barefoot out into the hall and heads first to the guest room. He cracks the door open and peeks inside. The Dorian is still fast asleep. They hadn't woken at all the past day and slept through the night as well. He's beginning to worry, but watching carefully shows the slow rise and fall of their chest. He figures they'll wake once they start to heal. Quietly, he clicks the door shut and heads into the front of the house. Yesterday, he collected wood for the fireplace and went to the market to stock the house with food and necessities while the Dorian slept. It was nerve-wracking to leave the unknown creature in his house alone, but he was relieved to come home and find it still asleep. The morning passes by eventually as he paces the living room trying to come up with a plan. What next? He just threw away the last 3 years of his life on a whim over some kid with horns. Is he supposed to just pick up where he left things off here? Go back to blacksmithing and hunting for money? He spent 3 years doing raids, hunting teams, guarding the compound. How is he supposed to go back to quiet village life like that after that? He ends up in the kitchen, lost in thought while making toast to calm his stomach. He turns, too quickly, still not paying attention to what he's doing, and bumps into the counter, sending the glass plate to the floor where it shatters. He jumps, startled back to reality, and curses quietly under his breath. Carefully picking up the shattered pieces, he throws them in the bin, once again drifting off in thought. After crouching over the floor, picking up the small pieces, he stands, suddenly catching a glimpse of a horned face peeking around the corner. His heart skips a beat, terrified, before realizing what he's seeing. He turns away to throw away the shards in his hand as a way to hide him, closing his eyes and trying to slow his heart rate. God, this writing is so bad. I keep stumbling over it. I'm sorry. Hey, kid. Good to see you're finally awake. he says, turning back to see the Drorian hobbling into the kitchen, supporting themselves on the wall. How long have I been asleep? They ask, looking around warily. Well, we got here in the middle of the night, and you slept all through yesterday, and now it's the next morning, so 2 nights, 1 day? Jace counts the time in his head, surprised that they had been out for just so long. Embry nods, and Jace finally pauses to take in how they look. They're actually wearing the new bottoms he had left out for them, but are still shirtless. Their chest is red and bruised, swollen around the stitches. Embry notices Jace's eyes trailing his soon-to-be scar and speaks up. It doesn't hurt as bad as it looks like it should, they say, self-consciously crossing their arms to cover their chest. Sorry, Jace says, looking away. He pushes his fingers through his dirty blonde hair. This is so Wattpad. Jace looks away. He pushes his fingers through his dirty blonde hair. Don't look at their horns. Don't stare at their stitches. Stop being a creep. I'm just glad it's healing. How's your back? Bad. Embry leans on the wall and turns to show Jace's back. Jace's breath gets caught in his throat and he freezes, bringing a hand up into his open mouth. Their back is covered in crisscrossing welts, red and swollen. In multiple places, dried blood covers entire patches of their skin, with open wounds scabbing into long lines. Well, Embry asks, I can feel that it's bad, so how does it look? Jace coughs, clearing his throat and trying to sound nonchalant. There's a lot of dried blood. I can't see it very well. It really should be washed. Let it heal better. Yeah, probably. Embry turns around. Do you have a shower that I could use? Yeah. The door across the hall from where you woke up. I'll grab you a towel, okay? He says, gesturing down the hall. Embry nods, turning back to the hall and into the bathroom door. The bathroom is small, only the necessities, toilet, sink, and a white porcelain tub. It occurs to them suddenly that there is no way their legs will support standing for a shower, not to mention the inability to actually wash their own back. Embry turns and catches their reflection in the mirror. Leaning on the sink for support, they stare at themselves, disheveled and broken looking. Purple bruises blossom across their head and neck. Their chest is red and irritated, swollen around the black stitches. The gash is long from collarbone to ribs, diagonally across their chest. They run a gentle finger across the stitches, trying to take them in, when they notice their wrists. They look down, turning their hands over, shocked at the black, purple, and yellow marks that cover their wrists. The damage is worse than they thought. Jace knocks on the door frame, startling Embry. He holds out a towel. Hey kid, didn't mean to scare you. Embry takes the towel, still leaning on the sink. Embry. What? My name is Embry, not Kid. And I'm not a kid, I'm 19. Oh, I see. Jace shakes his head. All right, Embry, since we're doing introductions in my bathroom now, he smirks slightly at the notation. I'm Jace. 21 before you ask. It just says 21 if you were wondering. My brain is like rewriting this in my head. I know that... What does it even say? I know that woman called you back wherever we were. Yeah, General Arya, Jay says, noticing Embry's legs shaking. Well, let's not worry about that now. Are you going to be okay to shower? I'll be fine. They take a step towards the tub, and suddenly Embry's shaking legs finally give out and he falls to one knee. Jace is quickly at their side, helping them stand back up and sit at the edge of the tub, towel in their lap. Sorry, Embry says quietly. Don't be. You really shouldn't be up and moving. Jace quickly goes over options in his head about what to do. Listen, if you're okay with it, I can help you wash your back off. Jace offers cautiously. You really don't need to, Embry says, not looking up from their lap. It isn't a problem. Just fill up the tub and sit facing away from me. It doesn't have to be weird. Embry can feel their face heating up. Sit naked in a bathtub while some stranger washes their back. That's ridiculous and definitely weird. But as the silence fills the room, they realize there isn't much of an option. The wounds need to be cleaned lest they become infected, and they can't do it themselves. It's not weird, it's just necessary. If you're uncomfortable, it's okay. It was just an idea, Jay says, sensing the discomfort growing in the room. No, you're right. Okay. Embry looks up, cheeks still flushed, slightly pink. Just let me get in. Yeah, I'll be out in the hall, okay? Jay says, heading out the door. Embry nods and Jay steps out, closing the door behind him. This is so Wattpad and I hate it. I hate this more than I remember hating this. Embry buries their face in their hands, embarrassed at the idea of a human washing them. They shakily stand, placing the towel on the edge of the sink. They turn the knobs, getting the water to heat up before plugging the drain and leaving the tub to fill. Although they try to hide it, every small movement is agony, their back a dull burning sensation. Every time they bend or twist to undress, scabs crack open, and dried blood tugs at the skin raw. Hyper aware of Jace standing just outside the door, they're careful to avoid making too much noise out loud that could let him know how much it hurts. Whether or not Jace rescued them doesn't change that he's a human, someone Embry needs to be wary of showing weakness to. Humans always have their own agendas. Of course, it's hard to not seem vulnerable, sitting naked in a bathroom. They wrap the towel around their waist and sit on the edge of the tub. After a moment, they turn the faucet off, steam rising from the surface. They scoot to the very edge of the tub furthest from the door, sitting with their back to the open tub. I've said the word tub enough times. Jace is leaning against the wall in the hallway, waiting to hear the okay. He cracks his knuckles one at a time, a nervous habit of his. Bathe a Drorian? His mother would faint if she heard what he's about to do. Letting one sleep in his house is bad enough. Already that's taking a risk, but to bathe one? He shakes his head. He never shared the belief that Drorians were wild animals until 3 years ago when he witnessed what they could do with his own eyes. The look in her eyes, the blood on her face. And yet, the thin, wounded kid with horns sitting in his bathroom right now doesn't seem capable of violence like that. Maybe... Okay, Embry calls out, just loud enough for Jace to hear. Jace pushes off the wall and opens the door, stepping into the bathroom. He walks in, looking over at Embry perched on the far edge of the tub. His eyes graze over the horrific marks on their back. Embry sits quietly, their head hung low. Jace grabs a washcloth and joins Embry at the tub, sitting on the edge opposite them, facing their back. This is gonna hurt, you know, Jace comments, dipping the rag into hot bath water and wringing it out. Not any worse than it did getting these in the first place, Embry says, shrugging their shoulders lightly. You've got a point? Ready? Embry nods and Jace runs a washcloth across their back gingerly. Embry's fingers wrap around the edge of the tub, gripping it fiercely. Jace doesn't stop, though. He runs the rag along open wounds, cleaning away dried blood. He dips the rag in again, staining the bathwater red. Working carefully along their back, he cleans away all the blood and scabs, leaving only pink open wounds and red swollen welts. All the time, the pair stay quiet, Embry clenching their jaw tightly, trying not to make a sound despite the pain. Jace notices the muscles in Embry's back clench tightly as he cleans, their back rising and falling sporadically as their breath hitches in pain. He silently admires how silent and calm the Drorian can appear, while clearly in severe discomfort. Finally, he wrings out the rag and sets it on the edge of the tub. The water is tinted a sickening copper. Is it done? Embry asks, letting go of the bathtub's rim. They flex and unflex their hands, trying to regain feeling in the tips of their fingers. Yeah, it's all cleaned. Will you let me wrap it for now? I'm sure it'll heal better if it's protected. I already owe you enough. You don't need to offer more. Embry, you don't owe me anything. Now come here and let me wrap them. If you go and get your back infected, it's only going to be more work for me, Jay says sternly, hoping it'll get him to listen. Get them to listen. Embry sighs, giving in. Fine. They shift, standing slowly and walking around the tub to stand in front of Jace, leaning on the counter for support. Jace steps out of the bathroom and returns with rolls of gauze in his hand. Now, raise your arms and do your best to stay still, Jace instructs. Embry scowls at Jace for talking to them like a little kid, giving them commands, but reluctantly they raise their arms slightly, placing one on the wall to hold them steady. Jace carefully tapes down the edge of the gauze before expertly maneuvering the gauze around him from behind. Every loop he reaches around Embry from behind, passing the roll from one hand to the other in front of their chest. He makes a few passes over their left shoulder to keep the entire wrap from sliding down. In only a few minutes, Embry's entire torso has been covered in a soft layer of gauze, protecting their back and even the healing sutures on their chest. There, Jay says, cutting off the end and tying it down. He steps back, admiring his work. Embry lowers their arms, surprised at how minimally restrictive the wrapping is. The fabric is soft and moves with their body. Thank you, Jace. Like I said, I owe you. You owe me nothing, kid. Honestly. Now get yourself dressed. Jace nods at the door, towel still around their waist. Embry collects the clothes they were given that they had taken off and passes Jace, heading back into the spare room. Jace watches Embry limp to the spare room, closing the door softly behind themselves. He sighs, turning to the bath of bloodied water. He drains it, carefully rinsing the red ring off the edge where the water left a stain, and heads back into the hall in time to see Embry turn the corner into the main living room. And that's all I need. The rest of this moves on to a completely different scene, but that's the bath scene. That's the bath scene. At what point do you just change their pronouns? I'm not changing their pronouns. Embry uses they, them pronouns. I just get it wrong all the time. And wait, do you guys want? There's one other thing. I don't care if it's bad. I've read worse. At this point, they might as well use he, they. Genuinely, I need to get it together. Embry uses they, them, Technically, I'd like to clarify. I have technically updated that. Embry uses all pronouns. Embry's fine with everything. Technically, they, he, and she would all be appropriate for Embry. Yeah, and then nothing bad ever happened ever, and they lived happily ever after, and nobody got shot. I'm gonna try to find one more thing for you. Okay, so are you ready for one more? I give you one more, okay? One more piece for good chatters who have behaved well and are finally getting the story that I wrote 4 years ago and then swore I would never share. So we are all the way back at the end of the book, okay? At the very, very end of it. This is chapter 17. This is right before the auction where Embry gets sold off. And to get sold off, there is things you have to do, okay? And you know, he has to go through the appraisal, or they have to go. Oh my god. I'm gonna start using all pronouns for her. Fuck it. She uses all of them. They, them, she, he, they, it, whatever. Fuck you. Except for it. Embry does not use it pronouns. Let's be very clear. Absolutely not. But they get sold. That was the auction part that I read. Oblivion, were you not here for the first chunk that I read? I thought you were. They get sold at the auction, and then anyways, that's, yeah, in chapter 18, there's that part. I read that just earlier. No, I just got here. Okay, you'll have to Abby, keep up. Come on now. You'll have to rewind, and because I read like I literally read the entire climax. I read all of chapter 18 essentially. So you'll have to go back and watch the VOD for that. But before they get sold at the auction, they have to go through the process. Even though they're there undercover with Jace, they have to go through the full process of being like gone over by the doctor and then prepared. And part of being prepared to be sold is being groomed, which means 11 chapters later, Jace gets to wash Embry again. So I'm gonna read you that. I'm gonna read you that. So yeah, you just read bath scene in chapter 6. This is chapter 17, 11 chapters later. And bath scene part 2, let's go. Yeah. Charlotte is a person in the... Hi, Ollie. Welcome to chapter 17. You're with me. Hi, good to see you. She's on the documents with me. She's one of the only people that still has full access to all of these, I think. Yeah. It's her, Emily, and Ice are the only people who have access to these. So, Charlotte is a person in the compound who works under Arya. She technically works for Arya. So, like, she does work in terms of selling the Jorians, but she's on Jace's side, and she's the one who stitched up the wound on Embry's chest, the one that I was reading about, and took care of Embry there. So she knows, like, she also helped Jace escape with Embry. So even though she works in the compound, she's on Jace's side. Okay. There's a lot here, so I'm gonna do my best to go over everything. This is all gonna make you feel really, really icky, okay? Just a heads up. This is the way they have to treat Jorians here feels really icky. Oh god, how much do I want to read you? How much do I read? All of it? God, okay. All right. There's a lot here, chatters, but I'll do my best. I won't read all of it. Anyways, they're heading to Charlotte's. They head up to Charlotte's office. Jace walking Embry. Oh god, it's so icky. Jace leads Embry down the hall, which is luckily empty for now. They head up to Charlotte's office. Jace walking Embry a step ahead by the chains on their wrists. The pair are silent, but Jace keeps his jaw set, a fire in his eyes. The door is closed with a busy sign on it, so Jace has Embry kneel on the floor at his feet while they wait. Sorry, I'm immediately reminded of how icky this story is. Jace leans leisurely against the wall, arms crossed, trying to look nonchalant, as if his mind was not going over the infinite possibilities of tonight going wrong. The door opens and Embry takes the risk of glancing up to see who exits. A man exits first, and on a chain he leads a girl no older than 12. Her arms and neck are covered in glittering emerald scales. She and Embry lock eyes, her pupil a thin slit, her eyes the color of amethyst. Ingrid, Embry whispers, caught off guard. She was a snake Drorian, and from their own village. He recognized her from town prayer and the market every week. What was she doing here? What the hell did you say? The guard snarls, looking down at Embry on the floor. Jace tugs up on Embry's chains, raising their arms behind them and forcing them to lean forward to not hyperextend their shoulders. They whimper, forehead pressed down to the floor. Nothing, I'm sure, Jace says with a venom in his voice. Better be nothing, the guard says, turning and walking off, his captive close behind him. The door remains open and Charlotte calls out from inside. Next! With the door remains open. Nope, sorry. With the other guard out of sight, Jace helps Embry to stand, leading them into the office and shutting the door behind. It locks with a small click. Jace looks around, vaguely impressed. The mess from early this morning had been swept into a pile of papers behind her desk, and an exam table had been placed in the center of the room. Charlotte. The doctor looks up from her notes and spins to see them. Oh, Jace, you're back. And the young Ram as well. Embry recognized her voice ever so slightly, but couldn't quite remember ever seeing her before. Her hair was a strawberry blonde, cut into a short pixie to frame her pointed face. She must have been older than Jace by quite a few years. She was the one who helped patch you up so we could escape, Jace explains, seeing Embry's confusion. Well, no need to restrain the poor thing. We know he means no harm, she says, waving at the restraints on the exam table. Jace undoes Embry's cuffs and they rub their wrists thankfully. They, Embry speaks up quietly. Ah, yes. They, she says, collecting the things from around the room. Jace told me you prefer that over he or she. How odd. When did that begin? Embry's ears go red, cut off by this strangely invasive question. When I was a kid, I guess. And why is it that you would say you prefer they over usual pronouns? Is it a Drorian custom? She stops flitting around to turn and look Embry up and down slowly. They shift uncomfortably under her gaze. I don't think it is. I guess I didn't feel like a boy or a girl. I don't see why it matters, they say, ready to get defensive. Fascinating, she says. Silence sits in the room a beat too long before she perks up again. Well, let's get on with it. I'll have you undress, you can keep your undergarments on, and come take a seat on the table. Embry flushes pink once again, glancing at Jace. Here? Yes, we don't have all day, she chides them. Embry remembers that Jace had seen them nearly naked before, even just the night before when they shared a bed, but somehow stripping on command like this felt stranger. They tug their shirt off carefully over their head, still careful about the wound healing across their chest. Ah, healing well, I see, Charlotte says, watching as they strip off their shoes and pants, leaving them standing in only their briefs. They cross their arms over their chest, suddenly self-conscious of their bodies. The doctor stares at them so openly. Ah, don't be shy. Come, stand here. Let me take a look at you. Embry stands next to the table, dropping their arms to the sides. Charlotte steps in close, examining the fresh scar tissue still forming across their chest. I see the stitches took well, she says proudly. They did. Thank you, she says They say quietly. I thought the doctor was talking for a second. Yes, now spin. Let me see your back. Embry does as they're told, allowing her to inspect the crisscrossing scars on their back. These scars were thinner, not a mass of raised scar tissue like their chest had been. The welts and bruises had healed, only open wounds were still visible. I know Drorians are built leaner than us, she says, eyeing Embry's slightly visible ribs and hips as Embry turns to face her again. But you see me underweight, even by your kind standards. It's been a hard few months, they say sheepishly. They spare a glance at Jace, who watches the inspection closely. I see, she says. Up on the table with you, then. Embry sits on the table, laying back as Charlotte refers to her book and scribbles notes about their body. She walks around them, bending limbs and feeling muscles and examining their horns closely. Are these your only animal trait? She says, scribbling on the paper again. I've been told I'm a fantastic climber, Embry says with a tint of sarcasm and annoyance. Jace breathes a laugh and shakes his head. Interesting. Well, you aren't in perfect shape, but you aren't bad, she explains as Embry stands and collects their clothes from a patiently waiting Jace. They slip their pants on quickly, ready to be done with this interaction. They'll bid high on you, Charlotte notes. Embry freezes, their pants on, but shirt still in their hands. That's what this is for? You were praising me for the auction? Well, that is my job, Charlotte says, not looking up from her furious scribbles. You just want to sell me like the rest of them. Embry clutches at their shirt, rage bubbling up, and Jace puts a hand on Embry's shoulder, although eyeing Charlotte carefully. Actually, what I'm doing is making sure you blend in with the rest of your Drorian friends. If you want me to say I didn't appraise you because you would be planning on breaking out tonight, I can add that to the notes. Charlotte looks up with a raised eyebrow, waiting for some smart response. No, Charlotte. Thank you again, Jay says, trying to calm the tension. Remember, Charlotte's the one who patched you up in the first place, he says, looking over at Embry. Embry thought for a moment, still unsure. I know. Trusting Jace was one thing, but it didn't mean every human could be trusted, just that Jace was different somehow. Charlotte holds out a chain attached to a small metal contraption. Here, this is the collar and the leash. It's for leading the Drorian around when they're in between the cage and the stage restraints. Got it. Jace says, taking it and opening the heavy metal collar. Here, kid, let me get this on you. Stop calling me kid, Embry grumbles, reluctantly sliding their shirt on and stepping over to Jace. He reaches around Embry, placing the cold metal around their neck and closing it. A metal clasp secures to close it at the front, where the short chain lead connects. The short chain leash connects. They shiver, reaching up to feel their newest restraint. I hate this. I know, it's not for long, Jace reassures them, wrapping the metal chain once around his hand. Let's get you to the showers. Jace leads Embry out of the office, glancing at the next guard waiting outside the door. Embry follows behind, hands cuffed behind them, the leash hanging loose between the two. Not long after walking silently through the compound's maze of halls, they arrive at a door, and Embry can hear the sound of water running nearby. A female guard sits at a chair outside the door, her gun resting lazily against the wall beside her. She looks up to notice Jace. Jace, long time no see, she says, her voice sounding more bored than anything. Indeed, Jace says with the same lack of sincerity. So this is our first auction we're holding. What's the protocol here? Yeah, right to business. You got a ram horned here, huh? Great, okay. Take it into one of the private showers we normally use. The public showers are full right now. Scrub its skin, wash its hair. Honestly, I'd probably just shave its hair. It looks like an absolute bird's nest. Look at it. She laughs. Ember looks down at the ground, gritting their teeth, trying to hold their tongue. Yeah, whatever. Jace shrugs noncommittally. Anyways, you know the basics. Nails, horns, whatever. Just make it look as sellable as you can. She opens the door, handing Jace a key. They walk in together through the main public shower room. At every shower head stands a guard with a Drorian chained to the wall. The guards spray them lazily, some of them shaving their heads or ripping a brush through their hair. Embry glances around in disgust and thanks the gods the room was full. At the other end of the room, a hallway of locked doors stands, muffled sounds coming from the rooms inside. Embry tries to ignore the sounds as Jace unlocks free room and ushers them inside, locking the shower door behind them. The room is small, only a few feet each way, with a stool to sit and a small myriad of hygiene tools. Jace is quick to remove the collar from Embry's neck and the cuffs from their wrists. You can get undressed, wrap a towel around your waist like you did at my house. Like the scene we just read. Jace says, handing Embry a towel and turning away. Embry silently undresses beside Jace for the second time that day, this time completely stripping down and wrapping the towel around their waist. They sit on the stool, making sure that they're covered decently. Jace? Yeah. Jace turns around, heading to turn the water on. Am I gonna survive today? They ask coldly, staring at the linoleum floor. Yes, Jace says without a moment of hesitation. He turns the water on, allowing it to run and warm before using it. While he does, he moves to kneel in front of Embry, locking eyes with them. He admires the steely blue of their eyes before hesitantly laying a hand on their cheek. I will do anything to make sure that you get out of here alive tonight, he says. Embry leans their cheek into his hand, grateful for the comfort, and stares into Jace's honey eyes, searching for the lie in the words and coming up empty. The quiet stretches on, and they hardly notice Jace glance down at their lips before he shuts his eyes and stands, the moment over as quickly as it began. Jace grabs the shower head, bringing it over to Embry. Tilt your head back. Embry does as they're told, and Jace runs the steaming water over their head and hair. He takes his time washing and combing out Embry's long hair before putting in a tight braid that runs down the center of their head and falls to their shoulder blades. Jace takes the time to explain the plan in detail for Embry. Both the cages and the stage itself have built-in cuffs. They'll momentarily free from the cuffs in the time that they are released from the stage and to their new owner. In that split second is when they need to attack and make the run for it. While Embry makes a break for the wall, Jace will hold back the guards by any means necessary. Embry sits quietly, listening and enjoying the feeling of being taken care of. It'd feel relaxing if it wasn't like preparing a lamb for slaughter. All they could think about was the upcoming auction, how they had one moment of space where they could escape, and the endless chances of it all going horribly wrong. The image of the guards' guns flashing through their mind, imagining them aimed at their head. They shiver, wrapping their arms around themselves and trying to get lost in the steam around them. Jace works methodically, shaving the sides of Embry's head, which had grown out quite a bit since he first saw them. He cleans and trims their nails, cleans their horns, and eventually steps back, looking satisfied. Embry looks up and forces on a nervous smile, but Jace's smile is genuine, taking in Embry entirely and catching him admiring them once again. He shakes his head and tosses the dry towel at them. All right, dry off, get dressed. Jace nods at the clothes that had been left for them hanging on the back of the door. Not the ads. Oh no, it's story time for you guys, sorry. Jace, looking past all that taut hatred, shrieks, yeah. I missed the gay part. It's the end of the ads. I'm sorry. How far back? How far back? How far back? What was the last thing you heard before ads hit? My poor ad watchers. Hand on face. Oh God, really? Okay. He admires the steely blue of their eyes before hesitantly laying a hand on their cheek. I will do anything to make sure you get out of here alive tonight, he says. Embry leans their cheek onto his hand, grateful for the comfort, and stares into Jace's honey eyes, searching for the lies in his words and coming up empty. The quiet stretches on, and they hardly even notice Jace glance down to their lips before he shuts his eyes and stands, the moment over as quickly as it began. Jace grabs the shower head, bringing it over to Embry. Tilt your head back. Embry does as they're told, and Jace runs the steaming water over their head and hair. He takes his time washing and combing out Embry's long hair, putting in a tight braid that runs down the center of their head and falls to their shoulder blades. Jace takes his time to explain in detail the plan for Embry. I'm not going over the whole plan again. All they could think about was the upcoming auction, how they had one moment of space where they could escape, and the endless chances of it all going horribly wrong. The image of guards' guns flashed through their mind, imagining them aimed at their head. They shiver, wrapping their arms around themselves and trying to get lost in the steam. Jace works methodically, shaving the sides of Embry's head, which had grown out quite a bit since he first saw them. He cleans and trims their nails, cleans their horns, and eventually steps back, looking satisfied. Embry looks up and forces a nervous smile, but Jace's smile is genuine, taking in Embry entirely and catching himself admiring them once again. He shakes his head and tosses the dry towel at them. All right, dry off, get dressed. Jace nods at the clothes that have been left hanging up for them on the back of the door. Embry dries off while Jace faces away and picks up the new clothes. It was a thin white t-shirt and a set of loose tan pants that cinches in from the knee down. Feel better? Jace asks, still staring at a wall. Cleaner, yes. Better, not really. Embry says, tapping Jace's shoulder so he could turn around. I haven't even processed today yet, they say shakily. I know, but we don't have time to slow down today. Once you're outside, you'll have plenty of time to breathe. Jace reminds them. Embry nods reluctantly, feeling numb from the shock of today's events. Jace gently places the cuffs back on Embry's wrists and the heavy collar around their neck. Let's go. One last time, the pair set off down the hall together. They approach a large, locked door, and a guard comes up to stop them. He looks Embry up and down, expecting their hair, their clothes, and eventually crossing something off his clipboard. Group 3, second cage, the guard says, unlocking the massive door. Jace steps out into the midday sun, followed closely by Embry, blinking in the sunlight. They freeze. Embry freezes, causing Jace to tug on the leash as he walks away. He spins to face Embry, only to see the utter shock on their face as they take in the yard. And that's it. I'll stop there. Gay people can't just say I love you. They always have to pull something dramatic. Do you have any art of them? Yeah, I sure do. I sure do. What's in the yard? Teehee. This is Jace. And this is Embry. Don't mind that Embry's thing is not done, but that's Jace. And that's Embry. Jace. Jace Embry. Jace and Embry. These are drawings of Jace back when I first started writing it. And drawings of Embry. These are Embry. And there's Embry. Jason Embry, but I cannot show you the rest of the drawing. Anyways. Gays! Oh. That's from a very different short story I wrote about them. What's the rest of the drawing, Xander? You know what the rest of the drawing is, okay? Are they a bit naked? Like a little bit. If I like, hang on. There's an amount that I could show you. Hang on. If I just do that and then just like there. Well, the thing is, you don't really see anything, but like, I'm just gonna cut it like there. If I just cut it right there, you get the rest of what's going on. You wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy? You understand. Anyways, I don't think I do. No, you do. I swear. I promise. You know what's going on. You know what's happening. I did this. There's an inkling of what's going on here. I'd like to reiterate. Oh. I did write a. What is it? Oh God, how long is? I wrote a thing about them. That's. I don't even know how long it is. I have to find where it is. It's I wrote something about them. It's not canon. It was just for fun. That is 11,000 words. And it's no, not the volleyball. It's not the volleyball one. I also did write that, but I wrote 11,000 words of them, and that art was fan art of that writing. Short story, it said. Okay, it's an 11,000 word short story. Okay. It's not a novel. It was just 11,000 words of that piece of fan art. And by fan art, I mean I wrote it. So where can I read that? I don't know. Maybe I'll put it on AO3. I wouldn't be against putting that up on AO3, actually. There is also the Tyrio safe version, which is, I have it called the Christian safe version, which is like all of the sex removed. I'm not gonna lie. There's it essentially it's so I make so I write these for fun, and then I make Tyrio safe versions that I can send to Tyrio where I remove all the sex, and essentially I have all of the buildup up until the sex part, and then I cut it out, and then I have all the after stuff. So in this one, it literally says, you win, do whatever you like, Jay says, permission slipping from his lips. He reaches out, running his hands along Embry's thighs, and then it cuts, and there's a line that says, they fuck for 9 pages! And then the next line is, Jay stares at them, their mouth hanging open, eyes fluttering in absolute bliss. Like it. I literally have it. Of like, right beforehand, they fuck for 9 pages. It's the stupidest thing ever. This is 9 pages. Listen, I had a lot of fun doing that. I'm gonna need those 9 pages. Oh my god. They do be fucking. I do be doing this for my OCs. If you don't write smut of your OCs, that's totally okay. But if you've never tried it, god, is it really funny. It's really, really funny. Straight slanging it for like 6,000. How many words is just the sex? 5,000 words. That's nuts. Anyways, yeah, maybe I'll upload that at some point. I'll consider uploading that to my AO3. It's so funny, and I'm ROAs. That's the thing. I'm also on the ROAs spectrum. I have no interest in slanging it with anybody. Xander, please tell me you're free this weekend. I can be free for a chunk of this weekend. I have some things I have to do. I think I'm busy tomorrow, but I can be free this weekend. We can do that. Yes, we can do that. If our brains are connecting. Yes. Yes. We can make that work this weekend. Is the Rizzler free this weekend? I want to read the gay set. Yeah, dude, Arrow Aces be writing the craziest shit. I've dropped my prompt submission. Okay, perfect. No, I did not see anybody's art because I was doing a lot. Hang on. There was a lot going on this stream. Okay, let's review. So, first, mini fridge. Oh my god, it's me as a beetle. Bro. Okay, now somebody make that into a fursuit. I need a fursuit of this. I'm gonna need some extra arms. Also, I was not told we were doing that this weekend. It doesn't have to be. We're just trying to find time that we're free. She just asked me right now. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think Rizzler's free. It's never a chill stream with me here. It's never a chill stream, period. I love the Rhino Beetle, though. The Zeedle! Bro, Zeedle! I did, in fact, just ask. Yeah, she just asked right now. This was just asking if I was free. If you are also free, we could also try to make it work. We just need to find time that it does work. We need a weekend somewhere. But yeah, Reese is in Seattle. Okay. This is what it sounds like on the other side of the cathode ray corridor. All right. I'm going to see if this works. Hang on. Hang on. Got to make some adjustments. Hang on. There we go. Okay. So, we can wait for another weekend. I'm just desperate. I know, we all want to share. Okay, this is Cyber's submission for the other side. Oh. That was like right here. It moves. This is funky. And tell me why. Tell me why this works. This looks like the album cover. This is why I imagine it sound like in an arcade cabinet. That's so cool. Straight banger. That is awesome. And also, this looks like the visual representation of how that sounds in my ears. That's so dope. You guys make some dope shit. You guys make some really fucking cool art. Oh, I love it. Oh my god. Oh. Yes, I love when shit does the like the left to right movement thing. It's so cool. Ah. Hold. I gotta reconnect. Rotten and Cyber collab. That would probably, I'm gonna be honest, that would go crazy as hell. Don't you scan my QR code. Let's at least get some Embry art done real quick. A collab would be pretty cool. All right, well, now that I've ruined the, now that I've spoiled the book for everybody, I'm gonna try and real quick get Embry's, headshot done at least. Does anybody have any questions? Because I guess now is it. This is the book. Those that fear us, it's been put out there. Does anybody have anything they desperately need to know about Jace or Embry? It's been a long time since I wrote this book, but I think I remember pretty much everything. I wrote this book like 4 years ago. I have so many emotions. Can I have it? Final reference today, gets distracted by book. Yeah. You definitely gotta post that gay sex on AO3 now, bro. Will you release a chapter a year on AO3? No. I will. That's a lot to ask to actually post the gay sex on AO3. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. I tired. I tried. Yeah, you tried. You tried. Listen, so this is where I'm coming up to like digital footprint. Digital footprint. Do I post some gnarly gay sex on AO3? Maybe I do. Maybe I post it. Yeah, fuck it, whatever. I'm gonna post it, but I'm not attaching it to my name. That's what I'll do. Is I'll do it through my trash account. I'm gonna what do you call it? I'll post it. I'll orphan it. I'll post it and I'll orphan it, and then I'll give you guys the link if you want it. But I'm absolutely orphaning that fic. It's not. I'm not claiming that one. I do not claim that energy. That was supposed to be written for my eyes and the eyes of my friends only. That's not supposed to go out to the rest of the world. Would you guys be shocked if I said there's also one of those written about Azazel and Zadkiel for Lamb of Gods? Because I do this for my OCs. I use it as character studies. Need a character study? Write them having sex. Boom, character study. But but anonymously posting it be acceptable too? That's kind of what I'm gonna be doing, is orphaning it, yeah. I've done this once, I gotta do it again. Yeah, it's a great way to character study. Anytime I'm like, man, I gotta get to know these characters better, time to write them fucking. Yeah, Tyrio gets Tyrio safe versions. Tyrio, what was your request earlier? You said you had a request. God, drawing these horns are a pain. Do you want to read mine? I'm desperate. Oh, you can't give it out to Ash before we all get it. Aw. For my 21st birthday, I want the unedited writing. I'll read it in your living room. You cannot read it in my house. Why not? You can. You can. I'm sorry. You can share who with whoever. I want us to be able to do the thing. You can share it with whoever you like. It was a emotional gaffe. You draw your lines so smooth. You draw your lines so slow. How do you keep them smooth? It's control. Like, I'm not doing this because this is completely uncontrolled. This is an uncontrolled line, and then you're stuck doing this 100 times. Pick your curve, like, you know, sketch it out. Be like, okay, so I want it to do like this line or whatever, and then slow, smooth, control. That's what you should be doing. And I don't have a stabilizer either. Like I can draw shaky lines. Like, I don't have a stabilizer on my pen. It's just slow, smooth control. Don't overstretch your wrist, because even right here it started to get shaky because I'm overstretching my wrist. You can only do so much so far. You know? It's also because I've been learning how to tattoo. So like I'm learning to draw like, because you can't do this for a tattoo. You need to be able to like, a lot of it is stabilizing. If the only thing touching your thing is your pencil, it's gonna look like this. But I'm stabilizing with like the whole side of my hand is down as well, and I'm using that to control. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm gonna control Z on somebody's back. So it's just, yeah, it's just like, if I could show, like, how do I show you my hand? Okay, hang on. This is my screen. Okay. So if I'm drawing my line, my whole hand is on here, And I'm putting my pencil down and then... And this is not something you should be doing, but I do it because my fingers do that. But like... It's control. And for the longer lines, I move my whole arm. And this is really hard to do when I'm focusing on the camera. Do you know what I mean? I'm not left-handed. This is inverted. I'm right-handed. Sorry to shake you guys around a whole lot. This has reminded me that your camera is mirrored and I'm set again. I'm so sorry. I just absolutely abuse the Procreate art tool. Yeah, and you can smooth your lines on Procreate, but I'm not good at it. I'm left-handed. There you go. You gotta have somebody to be left-handed. Somebody's gotta take the fall. I don't know what I want to do with her hair. I don't know what I'm doing here. I just like... This is just hair. Ouch. Oh, character refs. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Okay. And then we'll just... I'm gonna do like... Pull back, here. These. This. Yeah. Okay. Just some hair. I have some out here. Ah. Okay. Yes, I don't want that. I feel like there'd be more hair here. Something like that. I don't know. Like that. And then Embry does have different eyes than this. Embry has these. Boop. Boop. Cool. Cool. Boop. Boop. And boop. Ba-da-ba-bum. Give their ears here. And they have detached lobes. Why do I know that? I don't know, ma'am. I just do. Hip. And then these go this way. Hey-ya. Ooh, that's not good. Cool. All right. That's pretty good. That's about what we're looking for. Cool. Zed, I don't know if my message was sent, but I did send the link to the short story in the art server. Oh, bet. Okay. I have a new IC idea for my world, and I'm very distracted. No chicken. Next option, bombs. What's happening? We talked about wolf packs. Hang on. What is happening? Back up. I forgot this stream was supposed to be drawing. Yeah. We talked about wolf packs and children, people looking like animals, storytime, gay sex, quite the stream. Yeah, we do be like that. My style's kind of doing whatever right now, so I gotta leash this beast and then I can do the refs things. Nah, go crazy. I don't know, but yeah, okay. Wonderful, you just decided something about your OC? Yeah. I mean, this was not something I just decided. That's always been the truth. Embry's always had those eyes. That's the way Embry's eyes are. Name should be David. It's a woman, but bet. Davidina. Female David. Even better. I decided my OC 10 cheese wings lose their feathers when she's sick. Oh, they regrow to and fluffy with brand new looking different golden accents when she's better again. That's amazing. I love that. I adore that. David slash femme is crazy. I see. Okay, so I do just need to, I can't. Okay, I just have to actually ink this myself. That sucks. Okay. It's okay. Because of the way the line art is, I just have to trace this one. Ah, god damn it. Okay. I know every line to this song. But daddy had to work, you and mama had to leave me, and you started seeing daddy on the TV, and mama didn't like it. This is one of those songs that just like, I know the entire song. I definitely like cried to this song as a small child. Very emotional as a small thing. Just reminiscing, looking at your baby pictures. It just tricked me out how much you both have grown. It's almost like your sisters now. Wow. Yes, you pretty much are. I love Tenny. She's my gorgeous girl. I just want to go on a rant about her to anyone who will listen. I love that. Please rant. We can't hear the music. Oh. I forget if it's too quiet. You guys just simply cannot hear it. I used to cry to those sad 2020 TikTok songs. Nice fill tool, bozo. Listen, okay. The thing is, I can't because of this line art. I can't fill tool because line art. Because, like, some of these lines aren't closed. So, yeah, bozo. Lick my bow nuts. I'll go back to the jeweler that sold it to ya, and they give me every carat. Don't fuck with dad. Okay. I've had a bunch of songs I used to cry to. Anybody else cry to Liability by Lorde? Is that just me? Is that too niche? Okay. So, now what's wrong? I see. Anybody else? Liability by Lorde? Anybody else cry to that one? Is that just me? You guys cry. Okay. Valid point. I see your point on that one. The answer is me sometimes, yeah. I can be a little bit of a baby. Okay. This section should be able to just fine. I have a couple songs that I used to cry to, like, religiously. Like, if I listened to it, under any circumstances, guaranteed cry. Guaranteed. There wasn't a lot of them, but there's some specific ones. Car radio. I never cried to that one. I cry so fucking hard when singing songs. Yeah, no, I'm the same. I'm so the same. When I'm frustrated, for sure I cry. Yeah, not really to music. Music is literally the only thing that makes me cry. Song drop? For what song? The song that's playing right now, or songs that I've cried to? Cried to. Oh, God, there's a couple of them. Funny enough, for a while, I used to cry to, fuck, what is it called? Save Rock and Roll, the Fall Out Boy song. Save Rock and Roll, because I had a music video in my head for it that I made up, and it was really emotional. And at the main part where it's like at the end, I used to cry to that one almost every time. Liability by Lord, I used to cry to. What are the there are some songs I still like legitimately cannot listen to. Carolyn is one of them, by Black Veil Brides. Still literally cannot listen to that song. What's that one fucking song? I have a song that I literally only started being able to listen to again this year. Oh, yes, and nowadays, one of my newer ones is, yeah, Underworld. The Waiting, Odysseus, when you come home, I'll be waiting. You can ask Emily. Go ahead and ask her. I've never once listened to Underworld without crying. Doesn't matter if I've listened to the entire musical up to that point, or if that's the only song I listened to. Doesn't matter who I'm in the car with. Doesn't matter if I'm singing it or not. I will cry to Underworld every single time. What is that song? Oh, I know what it's called. I might trigger some people with this one. We'll see if anybody else has this or if this was just me. I used to sob to the song, and only this year have I now been able to listen to it without it literally triggering a trauma response from when I was in high school. Because I used to listen to this when I was in an abusive relationship in high school. Okay, this one. It immediately makes me sick. This song shouldn't give me the emotions it still does. I used to sob to this song. And hey, darling, I hope you're good tonight. If you don't know this song, it's good. I know that you don't feel right when I'm leaving. Yeah, I want it, but no, I don't need it. Tell me something sweet to get me by. 'Cause I can't come back home till they're singing la, 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 la. Till everyone is singing. If you can wait till I get home. I'll turn this up for all the newbies to the song. That we could make this last. If you can wait till I get home, then I swear come tomorrow this'll all be in our past. It might be for the best. See if you guys think this is a sad song or if it's just me, man. And also for me, it was about my breakup. And hey, sweetie, I need you here tonight. And I know that you don't wanna be leaving. Yeah, you want it, but I can't help it. I just feel complete when you're by my side. And I know you can't come home till they're singing la, 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 la. Till everyone is singing la, la, la. If you can wait till I get home, then I swear to you that we can make this last. If you can wait till I get home, then I swear come tomorrow this will all be in our... This is where I would cry. This part, this is where I would cry. You know you can't give me what I need. And even though you mean so much to me, I can't wait through everything. Is this really happening? I swear I'll never be happy again. And don't you dare say we can just be friends. I'm not some boy that you can sway. Anyways, used to sob to that one. Used to cry like a big old baby about it. Big old baby. That one used to get me. Anyways, I'm gonna head out now because I've heard from someone that sleep is good for you or something like that. I'm also actually gonna head out. Cyber's heading out, Fox is heading out, and I have finished the headshots for both Jace and Embry. They are both done. They both have their headshots done. There's still a lot to do for these bad boys, but I've got a lot of other things that I gotta do, and I've got a busy day tomorrow. So, blueberries. Maybe I'll make a playlist of all the songs I've ever cried to and get you guys a playlist someday. Maybe that's something I'll do. That was a really overripe blueberry. Alright. It is time to head you guys off into the world. If you are planning on heading out, if you can hang around for 10 seconds while I send everybody off to a raid to help out fellow streamers, that'd be so sexy of you. If not, totally fine. Let me go see who's live. Let's take you to Bree. Bree's playing Animal Crossing right now. What a perfect place to send you guys. Oh, and this is the perfect song to be playing. This is Goodbye Stranger. This is so perfect. This is such a good ending song. Goodbye, stranger. It's been nice. Hope you find your paradise. Able to see your point of view. Hope your dreams will all come true. Goodbye, Mary. Goodbye, Jane. Will we ever see it again? Okay. Alright. I'm loading you guys up over to a human named Bree. We're gonna raid her. She's playing Animal Crossing. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Take care of your goddamn dads. Or I will write gay sex about him for you. That's a threat. Night, everybody. Bye, guys.